So guys, yesterday I hit 2K followers on TikTok, and I also recently hit over 400 subs here on YouTube as well, and I would just like to give you guys a massive thank you for all the support that you guys have been giving me recently, and throughout this entire journey in general. This entire thing would not be possible without you guys, and it's just really nice to see all the support that you guys have given me throughout the past, like, year and a half almost. And to give you guys a little gift for all the support that you guys have been giving me, I'm going to share an experience with you guys that I haven't shared with you all yet. And that is going to be me tripping on shrooms, and not just me tripping on shrooms, the first time that I actually tripped on shrooms. So, enough of my bullshittery, let's just get into today's story time. So this one's back from February of 2024, I believe, which is almost 2 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about, I'm not gonna lie. But at this point in time, this was like a couple months after I had started smoking pretty heavily, and I really wanted to experience what it felt like to like trip on shrooms. And even before this story had even happened, I had tried shrooms before, but I had tried a really low amount, so I didn't like trip or get any visual effects. I had essentially just felt like really high, and I just really wanted to experience like the visual effects of a shroom trip and just have that experience in general, you know? And this all just starts on like a random day in February. I was just sitting there and I hit up my one buddy who I've just called Isaiah in previous story times, and he's the dude that I got the shrooms off of the first time. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, you got any shrooms? Like, I'm actually trying to trip this time. And he's like, yeah, dude, I got some, but like, you got anybody to like trips it, like be there with you? And Isaiah was really adamant about me like not tripping by myself and shit, which was really good because if at least I was gonna be tripping and like seeing shit, I wouldn't like go crazy sitting there by myself. So I told him that I would ask around with like our other closer friends to see if I could find anyone who would trip sit for me, and he said, okay man, just let me know, like, you know, I got you as long as you have somebody to trip sit there. I just don't want you to like freak out your first time actually like tripping, seeing things. And I was like, hey man, I completely understand, like, thank you for like trying to keep me safe, you know? And that was like the rest of our conversation from there, and I started hitting up some of my other friends. And the first person I immediately go to hit up was my good buddy that I like to call Dennis in these stories, or MK if you guys are from like my Discord or TikTok community. And the reason I hit up MK is he's a really like reliable, like good person who always like just tries to keep everyone's best interests at mind. I know he would actually keep an eye on me while I was tripping, especially if things went south. And so I texted him and I said, hey man, I want to try tripping for the first time, and Isaiah doesn't think it's a good idea if I do it by myself. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think it's a really good idea to do it by myself either. So would you want to like come trip sit for me and just make sure nothing bad happens? And he said to me, yeah, I got you, man. Just let me ask my mom what day I'm good to come down, like when I'm not doing anything, and I'll come watch over you, make sure nothing bad happens. And I said, hey, thank you, man. I'll let Isaiah know and just keep me updated on whenever you'll be good to come down. And so now I'm thinking this is great. Somebody's willing to sell me shrooms. Somebody's willing to trip sit. I have money for shrooms, and I'm in a great headspace for tripping on shrooms. I was really happy at that point in time. I had a lot of stuff going on. Just a whole lot was going on, and it was great. It was like everything aligned perfectly for me to be able to trip. And so I hit up Isaiah. I was like, hey, MK is going to trip sit for me. I'll let you know what day, and like, does that work? Am I able to just pick them up the day I trip? And he says, yeah, that works for me perfectly fine, man. Just let me know. I said, hey, that works perfectly. I got you. Thank you once again. And after this, a couple hours go by until MK hits me back up and he said, hey, my mom said I'm good to come down this weekend, probably on like a Friday or Saturday or something. I don't remember the specific day, but I said, hey, that works perfectly fine for me. I'll let Isaiah know. And so that's what I did. I texted Isaiah. I said, hey, on this day, MK is coming down. We'll come and pick up the shrooms from you. And I essentially was just going to buy a gram of shrooms off of him, not much at all. And after the plans are set in stone, not much really happens up until the day of the actual trip, except for the fact that Alvin ended up coming around on the hangout. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I probably invited him to come hang out and also like watch what happens. But yeah, we get into the day of everything, and MK came over, then Alvin came over, and I started texting Isaiah like an hour into me, MK, and Alvin's hangout. And I asked him, I was like, hey, when are we good to come get the shrooms off you? He said, I'm good whenever, man. Just let me know. I said, okay, let me talk to them real quick. And I asked the two of them, I said, hey, you guys ready to go pick up the shrooms from Isaiah? They both said, yeah, I'm all good whenever you are. And I said, okay, bet. I'm going to text him real quick, then we're good to leave. So that's what I did. I texted Isaiah. I said, hey, we're gonna get ready to leave. Where do you want us to meet you at? He said, I'll walk over by this one building that was in our town, which was like sort of a halfway point between my house and Isaiah's. And so the three of us departed from my little trailer home and proceeded to walk over to this meeting point to go see Isaiah. And we're kind of all just dicking around on like this cold ass walk, because keep in mind it's still like winter at this point in time when we're walking to go get the shrooms from Isaiah. And after like 20-ish, 30-ish minutes of walking, we finally get to the spot. And I see Isaiah walking up. I walk up to him, I dap him up. I say what's up, he says what's up to me, says what's up to everyone else. And for the next like 10 minutes, we all just start chatting it up in this alleyway behind this fucking like residential building. And after we're done chatting it up, he hands me this bag, I hand him the money, and I'm looking at this bag, and it looks like there's a pretty decent amount of shrooms in this Ziploc bag. Like a lot more than a gram's worth of shrooms in this bag. And mind you, I had already known what a gram of shrooms looked like beforehand, because when I had bought off of them before, it was just another gram. And I want you guys to keep how full this bag is in mind for later, because it will be important for the rest of the story. But after he gave me this bag, I talked to him for a little bit longer, and then me, MK, and Alvin all proceeded to walk back over to my house. And after we got to like the little area, we stopped at McDonald's real quick to grab some food, and then we walked back over to my house, went into my room, and we all just started talking for a little bit. I'm looking at this bag of shrooms just sitting out on my table now, and then I proceed to take an entire like stem and cap of this one mushroom to just see what'll happen. Just start out with one of those, because there was a pretty decent amount in this bag. Like one entire shroom couldn't hit me that bad as what I was thinking. And after I'd taken it, you know, I was right. Nothing like really crazy was happening. Like an hour went by of me just chilling with Alvin and MK and no visuals. And like another 30 minutes went by and I'm still sitting there just chilling. So I start smoking a little bit with Alvin and MK, and at first MK's like, I don't know, man, what if that's not a good idea? Like, what if that heightens the effects? And I'm like, well, I'm not really experiencing anything to begin with, and from what Isaiah told me, the effect should have hit after like 30 minutes to an hour, which I don't even know if that's how it is with like all shrooms or with, like, I don't know how any of that stuff actually works. And so that's what I told MK. I was like, I only know what Isaiah's told me, basically. Like, I didn't exactly do my research before I got into this. And so I'm sitting there, I'm chilling. I'm a little stoned now, like still nothing crazy's happened yet. And it's been like 2 hours probably since I've taken the initial like mushroom. So I get the bag back out, there's still a decent amount in there, and I pop another one in. And I want you guys to keep in mind that I'm not like eating these with anything. I'm just popping in like raw just mushroom in my mouth and chewing them, and I'm not gonna lie, they taste like fucking dirt. If anyone here has tried mushrooms, I feel like you can all attest that they taste like fucking dirt or like hay or some shit like that. And I down this other shroom, I'm just sitting there chewing it for a little bit, and Alvin looks at me and he's like, hey Riddick, can I try one? And I'm like, I mean, I'll give you like a cap of one, but I don't think it's a good idea if just a bunch of us are sitting here tripping. Like, it gives MK more to deal with. And he said, okay, that's fine. So I gave him a cap. So now I'm just sitting there. Alvin had also eaten shrooms now, essentially, and I'd eaten more. And another little bit goes by, and he had essentially just gone to like doom scrolling on his phone on TikTok while me and MK were talking to each other. And eventually, I don't know how this conversation started, but he like started trying to show me like lobotomy videos and shit. And he just kept saying, he's like, Riddick, look at this video on my phone, like, look at it. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, I don't know what's on your phone, but from, like, what you're saying to me, I don't want to look at it strictly for the fact if I start tripping and it's some weird shit, I don't want to have a bad trip. And he's like, it's just lobotomy videos, like, look at it. And he's, like, really just trying to get me to look at his fucking phone. And now MK's trying to get him to stop, too. He's saying, Alvin, come on, bro, like, Riddick does not want to watch those videos. You probably shouldn't even be watching those videos. Like, just leave him alone, man. And Alvin's like, nah, like, it's fine. It'll be fine. And now I'm just starting to get a little pissed off, because if you want to, like, cause yourself to have a bad trip and just have a bad experience, that's on you. But don't bring me with you just for the factor of because you feel like it. Like, that shit just pissed me off. So I started telling him, I'm like, Alvin, either, like, go the fuck home or go to the other room. I'm not dealing with this shit tonight. Like, you're being such an ass for no fucking reason. And And he said, no, it's fine. I'm fine. And I said, nah, like, we already gave you the chance to stop. Just go to the other room or go home. And he said, fine, like, I'll just go to the other room. And he proceeded to just go over to the other room. It was my little brother's room, who wasn't in there at that point in time because I think he was at a friend's house or some shit, or at his dad's. And after that, me and MK just kind of started chilling by ourselves for a little bit. And still, I just was not tripping. Like, we put on trippy videos in the background to try and, like, get my brain going a little bit. And still nothing was happening. So I just pulled out the bag. And what was left in it by this point was just a bunch of, like, loose stems and, like, caps. And I just took the rest of them. And after like 30-ish minutes, I'm just laying there. We got like music on, the trippy background on, like LEDs I think were on in my room. And we're just talking to each other. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this flag that I had on my ceiling. And this flag had a bird on it. And the bird like starts like wiggling a little bit, like moving slowly. And I'm like sitting there, I'm staring at it and I'm starting to like focus on it. And like it was moving. And so I get MK's attention. I'm like, dude, the bird on the flag, it's like wiggling right now. And he says, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm looking at the flag right now, and the bird on it, it's like wiggling, it's moving. And I see him take a look at the flag, and he says, yeah, I'm not seeing it, man. And this whole thing, like, basically confirmed it to us that I had started, like, my trip. And now I'm just, like, looking around at shit, talking to MK, and I'm seeing, like, slight movement and visuals from all sorts of just different things. And it's not, like, any crazy shit, like, I'm looking at a bobblehead or something and that shit's fucking, like, melting or it's jumping out at me. I'm just looking at stuff and it's, like, slightly moving a little bit, like, wiggling. And I was genuinely having a good time. Like, I was just sitting there giggling, looking around at stuff. And eventually, I ended up really having to take a shit. And so I tell MK, I'm like, dude, I really gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And he looks at me and he says, dude, do you want me to, like, walk you to the bathroom or something? Like, make sure you actually get there. And I said, it's not that far. I should be able to do it. If you want to, that's fine. But, like, you can go back to the room, obviously. You don't have to sit there and, like, babysit me at the fucking bathroom door or anything. And so I get up, MK gets up, and he essentially just makes sure that I get to the fucking bathroom. And I go to just sit down to take my shit. And for some reason, I don't know why my mom had this here. There was a mirror just directly next to the toilet, like hung up on the wall. So out of my peripherals, all I can see is a mirror while I'm just squatted down on the toilet. And like, it was bugging me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just had the thought in the back of my head saying, like, you're not supposed to look at mirrors, like, you keep seeing the mirror. And it was starting to make me, like, a little upset and frustrated. And it gets to the point where I full on just get up, like, pants still around my ankles, haven't even shit yet. I open the window that's behind the toilet, and I grab the mirror, and I don't know what the fuck was going through my head, but I tried sticking the mirror out of the window. But I realized that, like, it wasn't fitting. And that made me, like, even more pissed off, because I thought about punching the fucking, like, the mirror. Like, I was about to punch the mirror. But, like, the part of me that was still sober was sitting there, and I'm like, Riddick, you're just tripping. You don't have to do these things. Just set the mirror face down somewhere, and you'll be okay. And so that's what I did. I took the mirror, I set it face down on top of the washing machine, and I went and I took my shit. And I got done, and I proceeded to go wash my hands. And the way the sink in my bathroom works is the sink just sits there, and above the top right corner of the sink, there's a mirror panel. And above the top left corner of the sink, there is also a mirror panel. So I'm standing there, I'm washing my hands, I'm looking like dead in the middle, because where the giant mirror panel there was in the middle connecting the original two, there was just a giant hole. I don't know exactly what happened to the mirror that was there, but it was gone. So I was just like, keeping my eyes forward, trying to avoid the mirrors while washing my hands. And I catch a glimpse of myself, and I get curious, so I look at myself in the mirror, and, like, I'm looking at myself for a good minute, and nothing's happening. I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. And after, like, a good another minute of looking at myself, like, the image of myself, like, I start looking at a distorted image of myself, basically. It's like I start to not recognize myself, if that makes sense. And, do you know, like, the visual of when, like, heat's radiating off of a street, it looked like that was going on in the background, and low-key looked like the area around me was starting to burn, and it was kind of starting to make me tweak, I'm not gonna lie. It like looked like I was watching myself catch fire and burn. And so I start telling myself again, I'm like, Riddick, once again, you're tripping. Like, nothing's on fire, nothing's burning. Just go back to the room with MK, chill out, and have a good rest of your night. And so that's what I did. I went back to the room. MK asked me what took so long, and I explained to him what happened, and he's like, dude, like, Isaiah told you not to look in the mirror. And I'm like, I know, dude. I just couldn't help it. It was too tempting after I got a glimpse of myself. And now I'm just sitting there. I'm calming down a little bit more. And I'm snapping people. And while I'm snapping people, you know, I'm taking pictures of myself. And, you know, I was bound to look at myself during this process at one point. And once I do, it's raps, guys, honestly. Because I was snapping my good pal Bryce, that those of you from my TikTok community know. And in the picture I snapped, I'm looking at it, and I start to get like the distorted image of myself again, like I'm not recognizing myself. And I don't know what happened, like if I completely forgot what I was doing, but I typed in the snap asking, "Who are you?" And I look completely just oblivious to what is going on with everything in the picture. And I still have the picture, and I'm low-key thinking about it, including it in the video, and if I don't, I'll probably send it to the Discord at some point later. But yeah, I deadass was like looking at myself in this photo and like having a combo with myself in the chat part of it. And I just look completely out of it in the photo. And I think he noticed this because he texted me. He's like, dude, are you okay right now? Like, what's going on? I talked to Alvin, and I know you took shrooms, but like, are you chilling? And at this point, MK's passed the fuck out. Like, I'm just sitting alone, not able to sleep anymore. And so I call him, and I kind of just explain like the entire night to him in a nutshell over the course of like an hour. And it's starting to get like late as fuck at this point, and he's like just making sure that I'm not dying over at my fucking house basically on the phone. And eventually he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to bed, like just stay safe, text me in the morning when you wake up so I know you're chilling. And I said, okay, I will. Thanks for calling me. And not much really happened the rest of the night. Eventually, I managed to fall asleep. But the next day, I texted Bryce to let him know I was okay. I deep cleaned the fuck out of my room as well. Like, I woke up and had a bunch of like visual effects. Everything looked brighter. And I was just in the mood to like deep clean. So that's what I did with MK and Alvin. The three of us deep cleaned my room. And something I found out after the whole ordeal, the reason that the bag of shrooms looked so full and looked like there was a lot more than a gram in there is because Isaiah surprised me with an eighth and then didn't tell me about it. Like, he just forgot to tell me about it when he gave me the shrooms. And so essentially I just taken almost an entire eighth of shrooms without knowing it. And that confuses me even more as to how I didn't like start tripping faster. Like, I took a lot more than I thought I was. But yeah, but besides that, I think one of the funnier things to note is the mirror that I almost threw out a window is the mirror that's in the background of my live streams now on TikTok. So for any of you guys who recognize the mirror in my live streams, just know I almost tossed that shit out a window. But yeah, thank you guys for all tuning in. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I think this genuinely might be my longest story time and video in general that I've made. So if you guys enjoyed this story time, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be live on TikTok shortly after this playing Not My War for a couple hours. So if you want to come see me on there, talk to me in chat, I respond to basically every chat in there. And I'll leave my TikTok and Discord linked both in the bio of this video, so you guys can join there and talk to me, join the stream and talk to me. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in my next video or live stream tonight, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your days. See you guys all later. Bye.